So today I'm going to be ranking all 13 coasters at Six Flags Over Texas. Now bear with me because I have not been to this park since I want to say it was September 2018. So this is a park I haven't been to in a while. Hopefully I'll get back there soon, but from my memory, I'm going to rank all 13 coasters at Six Flags Over Texas in order of how I personally enjoy them. So, without further ado, let's get started with number 13. At my number 13 spot is going to be the Wile E. Coyotes Canyon Blaster coaster, and this is just a basic kids coaster. It's really nothing special, and it's also one of those coasters where you have to be under a certain height or to ride with a child who's under a certain height to be able to ride this coaster. It's number 13 because it's just a kids coaster and it's really nothing special, but it has a purpose. It serves its purpose well, which is a coaster for the younger kids, maybe their first coaster. That's what it's there for, but it's at my number 13 spot because it's just really, to me, not that great. At my number 12 spot is the Mini Mine Train at Six Flags Over Texas. So this is really just a small mine train. It's meant more for kids or as an introductory coaster. I guess it could be considered a family coaster. It's a short ride and it's also short in height. It's really not that thrilling and it's kind of on the rougher side. So that's why I have it placed at number 12. Number 11 is the Runaway Mine Train, which this is a classic aerodynamics mine train roller coaster from the 1960s. And it's got that traditional aero mine train type feel that I think it's a little rough and kind of jerks you all of a sudden in some places. I mean, the setting it's pretty wooded. It does have three different lift hills, and the final one with the saloon is really nice. It's a really nice touch and feature of this particular coaster, but I do think it's kind of rough. It's not super thrilling, but it's a good family coaster. Um, and for a mine train, I would say it's just kind of a middle of the road mine train. But yeah, definitely good coaster for the family, but it is definitely on the little on the rough side. Number 10 spot is Runaway Mountain. This is a Premier Rides indoor coaster. And unlike a lot of their coasters, this one is actually a family coaster. In this video, the lights are on, but the lights are usually not on. And it's super pitch black, super dark in there, which does give it a degree of thrill because you're not really knowing where you're going. But with that being said, it doesn't go upside down or anything. I don't think it's really that rough though. But it's just not super thrilling. It's a good family coaster. It's gonna feel like it's going faster than it really is in the dark. It actually doesn't go too fast, and the drops are not really that great either. They're smaller drops. So that's just why I have it here ranked at number 10. Number 9 is going to be Judge Roy's Scream, which is the park's only wooden coaster, and this is just a classic wooden coaster from 1980. It has a traditional out and back wooden coaster layout. And its roughness, it's not as rough as, say, Wildcat, Hershey Park, or how Mean Streak was before it got RMC'd into Still Vengeance, but it's not as smooth as something like Mystic Timbers is. Of course, its age, you can't expect it to be super smooth, but it is a little on the rougher side, and this is just your basic out and back layout. It does have some decent airtime though, some spots of airtime, and its setting by the lake's really nice, and how it's kind of off by itself away from the rest of the park, how you have to get to it. That's definitely unique, makes it unique, but it's really nothing too spectacular of a coaster though. Bora takes the number 8 spot, and this is a unique coaster and that it's a bobsled coaster, an intimate bobsled, so you don't really see hardly any of these around nowadays. So I think it's a really neat ride, very unique for sure, and that lift hill is really slow. But the ride's pretty short, and but it does give you kind of like the out of control feeling on the trackless parts when you go around the bobsled thinking you're going to fly off. Of course, you're not going to, but it just gives you that illusion that you will. I don't really find it to be that rough. I do think the line moves incredibly slow though because of how the bobsled trains are set up though. Um, Really no huge big drops. It honestly kind of feels like a water slide would. It's kind of what it reminds me of in the track and everything. But I think it's a really cool coaster, a really cool ride. And I really hope they don't get rid of this anytime soon. But it's just simply not the most thrilling coaster at Six Flags Over Texas, though. At my number 7 spot is the Joker Free Fly Coaster, which is a 4D free spin coaster at Six Flags Over Texas. These have been cloned at several Six Flags parks. And each time you ride this, you're going to get a different ride experience. I really like these. I think they're a lot of fun. I love the spinning aspect and that, there are some times where you don't spin a lot, and sometimes you spin like uncontrollably, which is a lot of fun. Um, but, they're really short, and I mean, I just prefer other coasters better, but it's still a good ride and is a smooth ride. Number 6 is Pandemonium. This is a coaster that has been cloned as well at a few Six Flags parks. This is a really fun coaster. It's a spinning coaster, and no two rides are ever the same. Every ride you're going to get is different. It's a lot of fun, and it actually goes pretty fast, and it's pretty intense actually. And it's smooth. It's not a rough ride. It's just actually a really good ride here at Six Flags Over Texas. Number 5 here, beginning our top 5, is Batman the Ride. This is a B&M invert, and this is a classic B&M invert that's been cloned at several Six Flags parks as Batman the Ride. And this model of the B&M inverts were the very first inverts that were manufactured. And so these still hold up to this day. These are very intense rides. They're not super long rides, but it's nonstop action from start to end on these particular models of inverts. So it keeps you on your toes, and it's a very thrilling ride. It's an exciting ride. And even though these are all from the 90s, early 90s, they're all very smooth, and the one at Six Flags Over Texas is no exception. Number 4 spot is Titan, the Giovanola Hypercoaster here at Six Flags Over Texas. And even though this is a hyper, generally I would rank these super high, maybe even my top in a park. But this hypercoaster to me, I mean, I enjoy it. It's a great ride, but I much prefer the B&M or Intamin ones. This one, to me, like I prefer a lot of airtime on a ride, and this coaster just doesn't really provide a lot of airtime. But the biggest drawback about this coaster is that mid-course brake run is absolutely terrible here on Titan. But I mean, it's a tall ride. The first drop is phenomenal. The helixes are pretty intense on the ride. I really wish it had more airtime. It really lacks in good airtime, and I really, again, just like the B&Ms better. The B&M layout to me is far superior as well. But obviously, it's still a good ride, so that's why it's at my number 4 spot here. Top 3 time, starting out with Mr. Freeze Reverse Blast. This is an incredibly intense, adrenaline-packed launch coaster, and it launches you backwards, which you don't see a lot. This is a great, smooth ride, and it's an incredible launch coaster, a great addition at Six Flags Over Texas. However, I do think there are still 2 coasters at the park that are even better than this one. At number 2 is Shockwave, the Schwarzkopf double looper from the 1970s, and this coaster still holds up really good to this day. It pulls a ton of G's, I think about 5.9. The double loop is such an intense element. There's a lot of airtime on this coaster. This is just a really good all-around coaster, and I really think that the coaster is not too rough considering its age. I know some people have said that the coaster's rough. I don't really think it's that bad considering its age. Um, but it's a super intense ride. It's very thrilling, very fun. Um, and especially the intensity, like those double loops, like cannot be matched on most modern coasters today. But with that being said, I do still think there is one coaster that is better at Six Flags Over Texas than Shockwave. One pick for the best coaster at Six Flags Over Texas is the new Texas Giant, the very first RMC conversion. And this may not be the best RMC now to date, since they've definitely improved on their original one here. But this is still a great RMC today. And it does not go upside down, but that does not take away from the fact that it's an absolute, huge coaster. It's a long ride. I still think it's pretty smooth. I don't really find this to be rough. And it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of air time. The layout is great. And it's just the best coaster here at Six Flags Over Texas. Um, as I said, the airtime, it's really strong on this. Great layout. It's a great ride. It's not too rough. And it's fast. Like, I think it goes, really fast. It's pretty tall. I mean, all around, it's a great RMC and it is a great ride. And definitely the number one here at Six Flags Over Texas. And I thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this, please like this video and don't forget to subscribe if you are not already subscribed. Thank you.